Guardian. Guardian?
Eyesupsaf.
Eyes up, Guardians. I got another build for you guys today, but I will say this. It is getting insanely more difficult to try and showcase these builds. Look at all of the modifiers that I have to put in here in order to just make it 40 under. Like, and this isn't even fully 40 under. Like, this is ridiculous. And I don't want to put things in here like slow and small because that just reduces my damage. Battlefield promotion is super, super annoying. But either way, we're gonna we're gonna do this. And by the way, all these modifiers are in here, and I'm still not even at an A rating on this, which is just beyond me. But anyhow, I wanted to showcase this build for you guys because today we're looking at a straight stasis build. It's old school osmiomancy. I wanted to see if it was still functional, and especially since Bungie made the change with non-featured gear not affecting your score in the portal, I figured, hey, this might be a great way to venture out and try some exotics that are not in the featured list. I do personally want to try osmiomancy gloves in a prismatic version as well, but I've been putting out quite a bit of prismatic builds and I don't really want to do the same old cookie cutter mold. So I decided to put this into a full stasis build. So before we get into the build or anything else, enjoy the showcase. Well, there you have it. Stasis Osmiomancy, probably one of the most oppressive builds that I've been using this season. It's quite good, and I have a soft spot for Stasis. Like, I really enjoy Stasis gameplay. It's very slow, it's very simple, it's very easy. I got old man fingers, okay, so I don't like going crazy and doing all this like jump, dive, hold grenade, shoot buttons. I can't do all that shit. So I tend to prefer builds that are very easy, simple, and have like a very simple gameplay loop. Either way, let's get right into the build. So we are using the Stasis subclass. The only super that we really have is Winter's Wrath. Oh well, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I really, really hope that with the changes that Bungie's planning with subclasses, I know that they're planning right now with Arc, Solar, and Void. I really do wish that they upgrade some of our Stasis and Strand subclasses to give us some better supers. That would be really, really nice, especially for Warlock. We are running Empowering Rift to help with the ability regeneration because of the changes that Bungie made. If you want a little bit more survivability, though, you can run Healing Rift, but Empowering Rift works really perfectly fine with this build, especially, again, once you pair it with something like a Rhyme Stealer weapon, because it allows you to just maintain and keep your Frost Armor stacks quite a bit. We are running Cold Snap Grenade because since we are running Osmiomancy, it gives us 2 charges of Cold Snaps, allows us to just continuously throw our turrets across the field and be as extremely oppressive to our enemies as possible. Of course, we're running Bleak Watcher because that's the whole point of the build, is to create stasis turrets. We are running Glacial Harvest. I personally like Glacial Harvest because it's a really great way to just easily obtain Frost Armor. So Glacial Harvest is really good. For our fragments, we are running Whisper of Rending. Primary ammo weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. So it allows our scout rifle to do more damage. Whisper of Torment, we gain grenade energy every time we take damage. And when we have Frost Armor, it increases the amount. As you guys saw, we got our grenade back extremely fast. So there's no issues here, especially when you're running Whisper of Torment. Whisper of Conduction, like I said, I'm old. I'm not going to run around and try to find these stasis shards. I like when they just track to me. Plus, I get plus 10 super from it, which allows me to get to 100 super. So Whisper of Conduction, definitely love this one. And then Whisper of Rhyme. So your Frost Armor has increased duration and maximum stat count. So we get to keep Frost Armor longer. And instead of a ×5, we get to go to a ×8, which is really nice with Whisper of Rhyme. Now, going into the weapons for this build, there's a couple different setups that I have. So I wanted to run through all of them with you guys. The one that I was using in the video was one that I was testing, but I'm not really the biggest fan of it, so I'm going to switch this up a little bit. So Jurisprudent, I would definitely use. I'm not the biggest fan of 150 round per minute scout rifles. They shoot really slow, but they do hit harder, and it's one of the main stasis options that we have that is seasonal, that has some really good perk combinations on it, because like I said, you can get it with Rhyme Stealer and Headstone. If you don't want to use Rhyme Stealer, you can also use something like Rapid Hit. I don't like Returned Memory in this build. If mine had Incandescent, I probably would be a little bit more leaning towards it, but I really don't like it. What I would use instead is actually Icebreaker. Icebreaker's a really good option for this build because it allows you to just cause instant ignitions because everything's going to be frozen 9 out of 10 times. And it's also a special weapon that does quite a bit of damage. So really, really good. And you get ammo back. Just a really good weapon overall to use with this build. And then for your heavy, I would probably use something like the new crossbow if you have it, or you can use Outrageous Fortune. You can even use a sword if you want to for overload champions, but we got overloads covered, so no big deal there. Personally, I like to use Outrageous Fortune just because you get the burst damage. So this would be the ideal weapon setup that I would use. Cover anti-barriers with your scout rifle. Icebreaker can actually cover your unstoppable champions because of the artifact mod. So if you want to put on Unstoppable Sniper, you can do that. Obviously, the ignitions also help with unstops, so you have 2 ways to stop them. So again, this is the ideal weapon setup that I would run for this build. The one that I was testing in the video, again, not really a big fan of it. It didn't kill things as quickly as I wanted it to, had a little bit of trouble with anti-barriers, and all of that can be fixed by using Icebreaker as well as Outrageous Fortune. Now, going into the armor, we are running 1 Ashes to Assets. We're also using Thermodynamic Siphon because we are using a stasis weapon as well as a solar weapon. And then I have 1 Radiant Light, so whenever we do cast our super, at least we get some kind of benefit out of it for our teammates. On our gloves, we're using 1 Grenade Kickstart as well as 2 Harmonic Loaders just to make sure you get your grenades back quicker. But again, they're not even necessary. If you really, really want to, you can just kind of tack more into Grenade Font and you get the you get the good benefits from that. In our chest piece, we're running a stasis ammo generation mod, so that way our jurisprudent allows us to create more ammo. We're also using a solar resist as well as a void resist. In our boots, we have innervation, better already for extra survivability, as well as a solar weapon surge. The reason I put solar weapon surge in here is because we're not really using this for boss damage or any type of major damage. Our two weapons here, which are solar, are going to be what we're using for most of the damage. So when we need to get a burst of damage, and as long as we have a stack, we're good to go. On our bond, we are running time dilation as well as bomber and distribution. I didn't really have any better options here. I think one thing you could potentially do is run proximity ward. So if you do have to go in and finish a champion, at least you're gaining an overshield, so you're not getting damaged by the blast afterwards and it's not going to kill you. So proximity ward is a good option if you don't want to run distribution. Going into our artifact, the main things that you want to run for your artifact here is Fever and Chill. Fever and Chill works really well to give you Radiant, but it also allows us to get Frost Armor, another way to get Frost Armor since we are running a Stasis weapon. Cauterized Darkness, really, really good if you're playing anything with Stasis or Strand debuffs and you're using a solar weapon. This allows our Icebreaker to do more damage to those rank and file enemies. We're also using one with Frost. So while Frost Armor is active, Stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. We're also using Frost Renewal. So while we have Frost Armor, taking critical damage releases a burst that freezes nearby combatants and grants Frost Armor to you and nearby allies. This is insane for survivability in this build, so 100% you have to put this on. We're also using Shield Crush. We always have Frost Armor active, so it increases our melee recharge. The reason that this is important is because we don't really tech a lot into our melee stats, so Shield Crush helps out a lot with that. And then we're also using Frigid Glare. While Frost Armor is active, our Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing burst. Now, going into our stat distribution, it's pretty simple stat distribution. I tried to make it as even as possible. We didn't really tech a lot into melee, and I was really trying to get my health stat to 0, but one day. But we do have 100 grenade. 111 is just an added benefit from having all of the armor that I have, but I would really just stick to 100 grenade. You don't need anything more than that. 100 super, so we get our super back extremely fast. We got 100 class, so we can get our class back extremely fast. And then we put 121 stat into weapon. If you can get a higher weapon stat and maybe lower your class stat, that would be perfectly fine with this, because your weapons are going to be kind of the star of the show. But all in all, that is the build. I hope you guys enjoyed. This one's a little bit quicker of a video, and I probably won't be on for the next few days in terms of streaming as well as doing builds, just because not to get into too much detail, but my son has to have a surgery that's going to be happening on the 26th, and he's going to have a pretty long recovery time, so I'm going to be off work and I'm going to be dealing with him and trying to make sure that he's okay. But obviously when he goes to sleep, I'll probably still be on playing and doing a few build videos and maybe streaming. So if you guys want to check out the live stream, we stream on YouTube as well as Twitch. If you guys haven't joined our Discord community, I'll leave that in the description below. Also, if you guys enjoyed the build and liked it, please go ahead and drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you guys think, if there's anything that you would change. And I appreciate you guys a lot for supporting, watching the videos, and subscribing to the channel. You guys make it all worth it. So thank you guys and have a great day. Bye.